Hi.
We are live. Hello.
Hi, Tim. Hi, Mike.
Tim and Mike. Hey, guys.
Yeah.
So we've doubled our audience from
I know.
part one.
Well, Mike did watch it after the fact, so he sort of counts. But yet Tim was the only one that joined us last night. But it was very late notice. Let's be.
Yep. We kind of did that on purpose. We didn't know exactly
Yeah.
if we were going to do it or not.
We were playing it by ear.
Now, Liz, because we've got the artwork for the show already done,
Yes, sir.
are you going to give them a quick look-see?
I
today?
can do that. I
don't
can
know.
definitely do that if you would like a
But
preview.
not in the show, though.
Yes.
No.
Okay.
So should I make a
Send me
slide
your
or
thought.
not make a slide?
No, don't
No.
bother.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Does that make sense to...
No, not really. But I think
No,
Nick
certainly
just,
I'd already done it. So
just a little
Yeah.
tease. He was thinking of it.
I mean, you could put it up there now and share it.
Okay, well, all right, just a minute. I gotta undo that. I gotta do this.
Oh, let me see if I can... Oh, I don't know if you guys noticed when I logged in to StreamYard this morning, it said that they were having an issue with moving the images
Yes,
around.
I've already noticed. I tried to swap us over, and it went...
Yeah, we were having that problem yesterday, and it was doing some other unusual things as well. Like Liz was
Yeah.
presenting her keynote, and I didn't see it.
Yeah, that was weird.
Oh,
It wasn't showing up on my screen. It was,
That was
Very
very
odd.
weird.
but Camacho saw it, and Liz saw it. I said, "Well, I don't see the slide," and they go, "Well, we do." I went, huh?
oh, wow.
How are you seeing it?
I just had a little blink of StreamYard, and all of a sudden, the pictures
Yep.
are so much better.
Well,
You look absolutely brilliant now, Jeff. Very sharp.
Thank you. And you
It was
too.
fine before you did that, but well, that's very odd.
Yeah. Yeah, mine did the same thing, actually.
okay.
Interesting.
Nick, tell me when you want me to show. I've got the slide made now. Whenever you want me to show it. Do you want to show it
Well,
now?
not yeah. Go on, show Mike and Tim because I think they deserve to see it.
Here we go. There it is. If you look closely at the face. Oops, shoot.
Oh.
Didn't mean to do that. That was scary, wasn't it?
That was the beast. Yes.
Yeah, that was the beast. No, it's the beastess.
Actually, if you've got no, never mind. One of the blow ups has a real close up on Jeff's face.
Oh, sorry. I could go do it if you want me to get it.
No,
Okay.
that's all right.
Anyway, this will be for this show's cover art. Hi, Sam. Hi, Metro Doc.
Oh, Sam's here. Hi, Sam.
Anyway, so you'll see that.
Already done. Have you found the penguin, Liz?
Oh no.
Oh, you see, you give me a hard time for not doing
I do.
it.
I see
and
it.
Then, yeah, I should have hoped so.
It's interesting the way you did that. It's in plain sight.
Yeah, I see it.
Yes, absolutely.
Hiding in plain sight. I see it. I got
Yep.
it.
Okay,
like
now
one of
my
those little
keynote
angels
is
standing on a.
getting a
Oh,
beach
yeah.
ball.
Okay, that's weird.
Oh, where are you getting your beach ball?
Yeah, I'm keynote, so I need to
Oh, okay.
restart keynote, my keynote with the movie stuff, video stuff.
So can I
That's
move
weird.
images now? No, they're they're still experiencing those issues, it says.
Ah,
Right.
it's-
I
oh,
can't do
great,
that.
better. Yeah.
It was just unfortunate because we had Camacho here for the first time in a long time, and he was doing quite a bit of talking, and I would like to have been able to sort of enlarge his picture, but
Enlarge him. Yes. Wow.
yes,
He can
well,
do that
I'm a
all
little
for
old for that,
himself.
but yeah, whatever. He was saying
Never too old.
yesterday in Wichita, they were probably going to get 7 inches of rain in one day. And they'd had,
Oh,
I
is
think
that
they've had 5 inches or something in the previous
Yeah,
week.
5.5, I think, last week.
Something like that.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay, present.
We're
Share
supposed to get some
screen.
bad storms tonight, but
Window. Jeff's media.
I'll be battening down my hatches.
Okay, let's see if I can do it. Remove other media streams from the stage. Do you have something on the stage, Liz?
On the stage?
Do you have your keynote on?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you? Because I didn't see it.
Yeah, I put up the picture. I showed the...
But I'm still not seeing. Okay, so do it again.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, I do see it. Okay, now remove it. Okay. Oh, I think what you did is you changed the view, but you didn't remove the presentation of the slides. That's what happened. Okay, so let me do that.
Huh?
Okay. And remove. In other words, if you share your screen and then on those little video, those scenes or layouts, if you change to the group layout, but you don't remove the slides
Oh, okay.
from
Got
the
it.
stage,
Yeah.
they're still basically on.
They're still on.
And so when I tried to share my screen, it said you have to stop sharing the other thing first.
How rude of me to take up that space. I'm so sorry. That was bad podcasting etiquette on my part.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
No, I just letting you know that's
that's good.
That's what I meant.
I think I was I was unaware.
I'm unaware.
I'd like to see a book of podcasting etiquette, please, so I can study it.
No, we need to write one.
That could be the comedy hit of the year.
It would.
Okay, let me adjust my camera. There we go. I'll just stand up straight. How about that? Instead of moving my camera.
Ready when you are, gents.
Okay. Let me go and look at the Evernote. Okay, so we're going to start as if we were starting a show.
Correct.
With the normal intro stuff.
Correct.
And
we're going to do this. This will be just a normal show, as far as I was concerned.
Yep.
As normal as our shows ever are.
Darn recorder. We are, in fact, recording already, Tim.
Yep. Well, I'm recording on my stuff. That's the critical stuff.
That's all that matters, Jeff.
Well, that's all that matters to me.
Well, that's all that matters. You're the one doing the editing.
Yeah. Okay. So I have a backup on the interface, and we also have StreamYard recording. So, but thank you for asking, Tim. We do appreciate that, because
Tim's
when you
very
don't
good at
ask
that,
is the time that I don't remember to do it.
Exactly. So you must be here on all shows. Thank you very much.
Yes. Right. Let's see here. Let me close that. I don't need to have that open. I don't think I need to have the calendar open, do I?
No, I don't think so.
Let me look at my calendar. What's up for next week? I get my furniture at the end of the week.
Yoo! Wow, all these deliveries. This is exciting. We need pictures, Jeff. Pictures when things arrive, after things arrive.
Okay.
Well, we're just showing some interest, you know. Jeez.
I know. It's just like I never remember. I'm not focused on doing all the selfies and sharing photos and stuff that
it's just with us. You don't have to do it on social media.
Oh, okay.
It's just with Nick and I, because we're nosy.
Oh, okay.
Indeed.
I need to do something about that GIF that you have. All I can see is that guy pouring coffee into his mug and he's shaking, and it's making me nervous.
Do you want me to delete it? Will that take it away?
No.
Okay.
Could you put that lady that you have up there, can you find some nude pictures of her and put it up there? No, you better not do that, because then that'll be very distracting.
No, but I could put up the picture that I sent you of her. That's a nice picture.
Can you put a link? If you get a link and... I should share screen. Yes, you could be playing it and share screen, couldn't you? Oh, don't worry. I'm just thinking to myself. How to get,
I hope that you can understand yourself, because nobody else can.
Naked on the show.
Well, that's the same picture that was there before, Liz.
Well, where are you seeing the GIF?
In the Nick Anderson, Liz Piper, and Jeff Nielsen.
Oh, the three of us. Oh.
Yeah.
That one. Well, that's the one I sent it to.
I know, but I mean, I saw that young lady now twice. You posted
I know,
it
but
twice.
I thought that would move the jittery guy up, so you
Oh, I
wouldn't see it
see.
anymore.
Okay. Well, let me resize the window, and okay, now it's all taken care of.
I
Thank
was
you.
trying to get it out of your line of sight. That's all.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You're a doll. You're a doll.
You doll.
You're a doll.
Hey, doll face.
Darling. Okay, so what are we going to do first? Traveling to U.S. O1A?
Yeah.
Okay.
As far as I'm concerned, just
Yeah.
go to. Have
Beautiful.
at.
Great idea. Okay.
Well, we're not going to do the 2 for Steffi. We're not going to do E and F.
Yep.
So you've only got 1, 2, 3, 4 to do. 4
Okay.
to do. Yeah.
Perfect. Second one is a video, and I think I'm ready with that.
Okay.
All right. Beautiful.
All right. All right.
Do we need to do a sound check, or how are we sounding to the vast
Mike,
live
Tim,
audience that we have?
Sam, how do we sound to you guys? Tick tock, tick tock.
Oh, and Mr. Captain Nick, we discussed this on yesterday's show, the ability to show the comments on the stage thing.
Yeah.
And that we will not do that when we're doing something like this intro or in
Plain-tale.
like the Plain Tales. But I was telling Liz that I watch a lot of my YouTube videos I'm watching on my big screen TV, and it's just like puts it full screen so you can't see any of the comments in like a side column. So having them actually on the screen is helpful for people that are watching our show
That way.
on a TV, if that makes sense.
Sure.
But
Tim?
we agree also that it's a distraction and it takes away from your slides for plain tales and
Right.
other
We
things. So
won't be there.
we can
absolutely fine.
toggle it off.
All
anyway.
of our chat rooms say we're sounding good, so we've got all thumbs
Good.
up.
Oh, Sam Bolog's there, Metro Doc, Mike, and Tim. Woo, look at that.
Yes,
Says we have 5 in the audience. I only see 1, 2,
we have
3.
consensus.
I guess somebody is there just lurking. They're
lurking.
They're
A
not
lurker.
presenting themselves.
Got a lurker.
Present yourself, if you want. Okay. Let's start the show then, huh?
I'm ready.
Okay. Media assets, and go to the countdown, and here we go.
You're listening to the Airline Pilot Guy Show.
The view from our side of the cockpit door.
WAPG. It's the Airline Pilot Guy.
Airline Pilot Guy episode 666.
Yeah, he's up in the sky. It's the Airline Pilot Guy.
Hello, you're listening to the Airline Pilot Guy show, the view from our side of the cockpit door. With your host, Captain Jeff, broadcasting live from APG headquarters in Roswell, Georgia. Today's show is recorded the week of June 2nd, 2025.
Yeah, he's up in the sky. It's the Airline Pilot Guy. Picture light and he's flying by. With the Airline Pilot Guy.
In today's episode, the FAA extends its lithium battery ban for checked luggage. And a plane nearly lands on a closed runway, occupied by snow removal equipment.
8862 heavy go around.
8862 heavy going around.
Also ahead, more news and your feedback. So get all settled in. Tray tables and seat backs in the upright and locked positions. Electronic devices powered on. I'm Radio Roger, and Flight 666 is ready for pushback.
Thanks, Roger. He's an award-winning TV and radio reporter currently at the #1 all-news station in the nation. 1010 wins on 92.3 FM in
New York City!
Welcome to the Airline Pilot Guy Show. It's an aviation podcast covering the latest in aviation news and answering your great feedback. I'm Captain Jeff, a former U.S. Air Force pilot and retired Delta Airlines captain, and joining me from his studio.
In Hartford, Hereford, and Hampshire.
He's a retired professional dog photographer, former RAF fighter pilot, retired Airbus A330, A340 captain for Virgin Atlantic Airways. It's the lovely Captain Nick.
Hello, Captain Jeff. This is amazing. Show 666. Now that number has special significance, even in aviation. Now, in fiction, number 666 Squadron was the unit led by the eponymous hero, Biggles. And in reality, it was an air observation unit spotting for artillery. And Old 666 was the name of a B-17 that undertook reconnaissance missions of Japanese-held islands against such fierce opposition that 2 of the crew were awarded the Medal of Honor and all of the others the Distinguished Service Cross. Now, in more recent times, Flight 666 was a Finnair flight to Hell, which is, of course, an abbreviation for Helsinki. And probably the most famous flight of 666 was by the Iron Maiden Band in their special Boeing 757 known as Ed Force One, which the band leader, their singer, Bruce Dickinson, a trained airline pilot, flew on a world tour and immortalized in their movie Flight 666.
Wow. So much info.
All that. Yeah,
That's a
great
lot.
number.
That's a lot.
So I had to look up eponymous, I have to admit, and figured out that an eponym is a noun after which or for which someone or something is or is believed to be named.
Yes.
Okay, that's a
you said something
interesting
pretty
sentence
pointless
structure.
word, quite honestly.
Well,
There you go.
as soon as you said it, I went, "Oh, son of a gun! I don't really know exactly what that word means." So I had to quickly look it up while you were telling us more about 666. I don't know if you saw me put this on the screen when you were reading your.
I saw it out of the
666
corner
stuff.
of my eye. All I thought was death had arrived.
It's a classic.
I usually keep that in the hip pocket when we're talking about the airplanes that I've flown in my career and the fact that they're all retired. So
Indeed.
people, you don't want to invite me to fly in your airplane because you're going to have to retire it.
The airplane slayer.
The airplane slayer, yeah, for sure.
Hey,
Interesting
Tanya.
stuff.
Yeah, it is. And people love the number or hate the number, depending on your point of view.
It's my phone
Yeah.
number starts with 666.
I was going to say, usually it's a warning to those of us humans in this world when somebody has those 3 numbers associated with something like their phone number.
Indeed.
Now it's making sense to me.
It's easy to remember, I can tell you that.
Yeah. All right. So that lovely voice you hear, of course, is our producer. Oh, I should say from her studio in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, retired financier and aviation enthusiast, spreadsheet master, and again, our producer. It's Liz Piper.
Good day, gentlemen, and everyone in the chat room. It's going to be a beastly show.
Oh,
I guess they're not gentlemen in the chat room.
Oh, no, well, Tanya's there.
Well, she's
okay.
a gentlewoman, I
A
assume.
gentlewoman.
She is a
Oh,
gentleman.
Tanya, I saw a picture of her with
Gin.
wow, May. No, what's his name? It's the Drive program.
Yes.
Presenter James May.
James May. Yeah.
She met him presumably in New York. He was flogging his gin.
That's right.
But I love watching him on television.
I do
So
too.
I'm
He's
very
good.
jealous that Tanya met him.
He's a cool guy.
James May.
Yeah, James. May.
I like to call him
He's
Jim.
a very funny guy as well.
Jimmy.
Yeah, Jimmy. Yeah, we're good friends.
Have
Only
a
his
good
close
show, you
friends call him
guys.
Jimmy. Thanks, Liz.
All right, cheers, Liz.
All right, time for the news bumper because we're going to talk about some aviation news.
stand by for news.
I should mention before we cover our first news item that soon you're going to hear another voice. I didn't actually introduce him at the beginning of the show because we actually met up, the three of us, Liz and myself and Nick Camacho, last night. So we're going to intersperse a couple of items that we pre-recorded. So don't be too taken aback when you hear Camacho's voice. Yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to mention that. Yeah, it was nice catching up with Camacho. Anyway, this now that we're doing is just the three of us, Liz, Nick Anderson, and Jeff. Yeah. All right.
Cool.
Let's do the first item here from ndtv.com. And they're talking about, well, let me read this. America's security agency, the TSA, has banned some items, including all lithium battery-powered items in checked luggage. Travelers should not carry banned items in checked-in luggage, it says, of course, in a bid to streamline air travel and tighten security measures. The Transportation Security Administration, TSA, in coordination with the FAA, has brought into effect a fresh ban on 7 types of items in all checked baggage on U.S. flights. All these are lithium battery-powered items that now must be packed in your carry-on luggage. This regulation amendment is a part of a larger safety campaign to avoid in-flight fires, which is a good thing. You want to avoid those, following a string of battery-related mishaps on commercial airplanes. Here are 7 items banned: power banks, cell phone battery charging cases, spare lithium-ion batteries, spare lithium metal batteries, cell phone batteries, laptop batteries, and external battery packs and portable rechargers. The FAA guidelines state that lithium batteries have the potential to overheat and cause a dangerous chemical reaction called a thermal runaway. Factors such as physical damage, exposure to heat or water, overcharging, inadequate packaging, or internal manufacturing defects, those cheap ones that you're buying out there on eBay, might cause this reaction to occur suddenly. The FAA has issued a warning that thermal runaway, especially in a plane's cargo hold, can spread swiftly to neighboring batteries and pose an uncontrolled fire danger. Yeah, and once down there, we have little control over how the fire is extinguished with our current fire cargo hold extinguishing systems. So it's definitely a major concern, and I'm glad that they're implementing this. Your take, Captain Nick?
Absolutely, yeah. We've been calling for years now to have extra security on these items, because if they do, and particularly they're particularly prone to it if they're the inexpensive types that don't have a lot of safety circuits built into them, or if they've been damaged, then they're the ones that are likely to do. And when they go off, they can be pretty hard to handle and get to very high temperatures very quickly indeed. So, yeah, I'm very glad that they're now in a place where at least the cabin crew who are trained to deal with it, albeit, if it's a large battery, you're going to have to be a pretty brave person to try and manhandle that into a safe container, but that's effectively what they've got. Much better that than have it just burning away in the cargo hold where all hell could break loose. So, this is great. I don't know if this was a copy of what the TSA say, or if this is the journalist just putting it in his own words. But he says, fresh ban on 7 types of items, all in checked baggage. All these are lithium battery-powered items that must now be packed in your carry-on. You don't have to pack the lithium powered items. So if it's a big piece of electrical kit that is powered by batteries, I'm assuming it's perfectly safe just to take the batteries out, put the big item in the cargo hold, and just put the batteries in your personal carry-on. Because the way they've written it makes it sound like you've got to put the whole item must now be in your carry-on luggage. So
yeah, I think I agree with you. I think that if it's a removable, and it's a big, heavy, bulky item that you don't necessarily have to have that in your carry-on. Like, for instance, those little scooters, those electric scooters or whatever. Obviously, you can't put those on your carry-on because there's no room for them.
No, it'd be fun to have them in the aircraft. You could whiz up and down the aisles on them, couldn't you? That would be great. But no, or you could slide up and down on your dinner trays. Yes.
Well, this is perfect. A perfect segue for me to kind of reintroduce my brilliant idea and perhaps. The way that I'm going to be just making millions and millions of dollars in my retirement is that my idea. So, the age of airline pilots keeps, creeping up, and they keep allowing for us to, work later in our lives. Right now it's set at 65, but there are always those rumors. They're talking about, bumping it up to 67 or 70 or whatever. I'm thinking if that happens, I think that the pilots should have those little scooter things, and then take the seats out of the cockpit, and then you can just drive right up and lock your little scooter, electric scooter, down into position, and then when you're ready to.
A chair for people who have trouble, a mobility chair.
Yeah, those little. I don't know, what are those things called?
I'm thinking of a scooter, 2 wheels and a handlebar.
Oh, not that kind of scooter. The little things that are like the 3-wheel things, that people sit on, and they go around and drive around in. And then
run
I'm
over
thinking,
your feet.
Yeah, and then like you could do your walk-arounds with them. It would be like a scoot-around, not a walk-around. And you could put like one of those big giant flag antenna things, on there, so that you're more easily seen. Well, Jared. I think it's a brilliant idea. Yeah. Okay. Tim Van Ram, and I'm not surprised it's from Tim. Don't pack your sex toys in checked luggage. Vibration is not good for the luggage compartment. And this is obviously someone who is speaking with some experience in this area. Yeah. Thank you, Tim.
I don't really want to know any more, thank you.
Okay. Well, then perhaps we should move on to the next news item.
Good job.
What do you think?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, definitely.
All right. So this one is a video. We have a couple of sources here. We have this from the Aviation Herald, and we also have some video from VAS Aviation, I believe. Do we? Or maybe not. Maybe I'm... Oh, you know what? Okay, I saw a video in the item title, and I was thinking it was the one that I have all set to play, but that was wrong. Well, no, it's like a different news item that I have set to play in the video. So, okay. Thank you. Yeah, I don't think we need to have the video. Okay, so let's go back in reverse. All right, let's move to this news item from the Aviation Herald. It's a final report on an incident or accident that occurred at Santa Ana, Orange County, John Wayne. We call it so many different things in Southern California. And an Alaska Airlines Boeing 737-800, registration November 516 Alpha Sierra, performing flight 1288 from Seattle, Washington to Santa Ana, California, with 106 passengers and 6 crew, landed on Santa Ana's runway 20 right at 23:14 local time, so just before midnight, but touched down hard, causing the left main gear strut to be punched through the left wing. The aircraft came to a stop on the runway and was disabled. There were no injuries, and the aircraft sustained substantial damage. And so now we're going to scroll down to the NTSB final report that was released on the 23rd of May of this year. They concluded that the probable cause was maintenance personnel's excessive grinding of the left main landing gear's half trunnion pin during machining. which imparted heat damage to the base metal and led to the fatigue cracking that caused the pin to fracture during landing. Oh, okay.
What were they doing grinding the trunnion pin?
I don't, some people, different strokes for different folks, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, very slowly. They're bored. Okay, the NTSB analyzed this accident occurred when the left main landing gear of an Alaska Airlines Boeing 737-800 collapsed during landing. Post-accident examination revealed that the aft trunnion pin in the left main landing gear failed during landing due to a fatigue fracture. The fracture initiated from a small intergranular region below the external chromium electroplated layer.
It is produced by the modial interaction of magneto-reluctance and capacitive directance. The original machine had a base plate of prefamulated amulite surmounted by a malleable logarithmic casing in such a way that the two spurving bearings were in a direct line with a panometric fan.
And they go on to say that the fatigue crack, which had propagated to a depth of 0.144 inches, was large enough to cause the remaining material to fracture in tensile or upward bending over stress during landing, resulting in the collapse of the left main landing gear. Do I have to read any more of this? This is kind of complicated. It was a hard landing, but the part should have been able to withstand the forces on it. However, it was a fatigue crack in the intergranular region of the aft trunnion pin. Well,
I'm still confused as to why this trunnion pin needed to be ground down. So does it come like one size, and if the hole you're trying to put it in is too small, then you grind it down? But it's complicated because apparently they had to grind it down and then re-chrome it afterwards because it has to have the layer of chrome on it. And they kind of did that in the wrong order. So they chromed it before they tried to inspect it, and they couldn't do a proper inspection of it to ensure the work was done properly because it was now chromed. So I'm going, this does not sound terribly safe.
Brilliant.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I agree. Crazy. Yeah.
As an airline pilot working for that company, I would be going, what the hell are our engineers doing down there? Come on, guys.
I'm hoping that they maybe took a look at some other aircraft main landing gear components that may have also gone or undergone the procedure. Yeah, the grinding of intergranular fractures in the turbo encapsulator. Okay. Sam, what? Sam says, I think John Wayne has an 11 p.m. curfew for arrivals. Yeah, well, I guess they were about 14 minutes late when they touched down.
That might have
and now they
for
regret it. They've always had, a very strict curfew. He's right. I don't know. Maybe they have some kind of a facility or exception kind of thing, and you have to pay a fine if you're beyond that 11 p.m. I don't know. But they're very noise sensitive there. I can tell you that for sure. That's definitely a thing. All right. Yeah. Wow. I hope you enjoyed me putting that little sound clip in there, the turbo encabulator, because that was when I was reading this, when we were doing, believe it or not, we actually do prep for the show sometimes. When I was reading through all this in my head, that's all I could hear was that guy going, the turbo encabulator and the framulated something base plate. The elevated reading from the Barkhausen noise inspection. That's actually in the report, by the way. The Barkhausen noise inspection. Yes. Yep. People like Camacho, maybe Rick would enjoy that kind of thing. The Wikipedia. All right. I think we should continue then with this video. Yes, I was trying to play this earlier, and I'm glad I didn't, because it would have been the wrong news. Thank you. That's very helpful, Neil. Liz? Neil? Who's Neil? Okay, well, we'll talk about
You
that
weren't
later.
trying to say
Okay.
Liz Nielsen, were you?
No, yeah, wow, I don't think so. Wait a minute. Liz, you don't have to react quite that disgustedly. Yeah, I think we should. Yeah, I think we should set it up. So this video that we're going to play from Vass Aviation, thank you very much, Vass Aviation, for putting out these wonderful videos. It involves a Acme Giant airline. What's the real name? Atlas 747, I think. And we don't know anybody that flies for them. Coming in for landing at Anchorage, the Anchorage International Airport, late at, it's Ted Stevens. Yeah, whatever. And they
Who
are
all these people?
Yeah, that's why
Roman? Why would they
I've
be-
mentioned that. I don't know. I've mentioned on the show before. I never used, or maybe I did every once in a while, use the name of whatever, like the airport's named for somebody. And especially if it's a political figure, even if you like that political figure or you don't, I'm thinking, let's just stop the nonsense and just call it, Atlanta International. Let's call it Washington National Airport, not all the, anyway. I'll step down from my soapbox and tell you again about this video. It's a 747 for a cargo freight liner, 747 landing at Anchorage, and they're coming in on the arrival. That's when we start to hear the audio for this. Coming in on the arrival they're using runway 7 left and 7 right, although 7 right is closed because they're removing snow on that runway. So let's let the video play, and we'll comment on it after it is finished playing. So here we go. Maybe.
First, good morning, John 8862 is 10,700, descending via the Nil 7 with information Delta.
John 8862, have any Anchorage approach after Inc. cleared ILS, 27 left approach.
Mr. Shank, cleared the ILS,
No.
47 left, John 8862. Good morning, John 8862, heavy ILS 7 right.
Hi, 8862, heavy Anchorage Tower. Good morning, Raleigh 7 right, clear to land.
All right, cleared to land, John 8862, heavy.
Thought they said 7 left before.
They did.
The right's still closed, correct?
After affirmative, right is still closed, and looks like it's still okay to be closed for a little while until that fog rolls through.
Isn't that the same voice that just cleared an aircraft to land on?
6030,
7
heavy,
right?
turn left,
Yep.
Charlie F-able, if not, continue down to Bravo.
You are correct, sir.
Left Charlie, and
FedEx 6030, heavy, taxi park via Kilo Romeo.
all right, Charlie Kilo Romeo to park at 6030.
Okay. Okay, the flight is approaching the land on runway 7 right, which is closed due to snow removal works, even though they just cleared them to land on it.
Giant 8862, heavy, go around.
John 8862, heavy, going around.
Giant 8862, heavy, it looked like you were lined up for runway 7 right. Fly the published mist and contact approach on 118.6.
7 right, roger.
Yeah, he's going.
FedEx 6010, heavy, engine run up is approved, runway 33, clear for takeoff.
Runway 33, clear for takeoff, FedEx 6010, heavy.
Okay, I'm going to stop the video right now because I don't really think that there's anything significant beyond this point. What was significant has already happened. So, no, if you'll leave that on there, please, Liz. I would like to go back a little bit. So initially, they're coming in on this arrival. A little confusion about the after which waypoint you're going to fly the ILS approach, or you're cleared the ILS approach to runway 7 left, which was their direction, instruction. The flight read back a different waypoint, which is the waypoint before Ankh. They read back Schenken. So a little confusion there. And they read back to the approach to 7 left. And then I think they did anyway. Here, let me play it again. I forget.
Yes, they did. They started off, everything on this frequency is 7 left.
Was
Everyone's
good.
got it right.
Okay. Yep, there, he read back 7 left. Okay. Then as we fast forward, he switches over to tower frequency, and right about here, I think is where we pick up. Nope. No, I'm sorry. I gotta go to a different point here.
Yeah, Kilo Romeo.
All right, Charlie Kilo Romeo depart at 6030.
Oh no, it was before this. I have to do some editing here. Okay, here it is. Okay, so he checks in with tower.
Good morning, John 8862 Heavy, ILS 7 right.
Hi, 8862 Heavy, Anchorage Tower. Good morning, Raleigh 7 right, clear to land.
All right, clear to land, John 8862 Heavy.
Okay, so he checks in with tower and says 7 right, even though they were cleared 7 left. And then, of course, confirmation bias, or whatever you want to call it, the tower repeats the incorrect runway assignment and says cleared to land, runway 7 right. So the next thing I think is critical here, because Ops is out there managing all the snow removal, and he's thinking, did she just say cleared to land 7 right? I mean, I have all my equipment, all my men and equipment out here on the runway. Let me just confirm this with her. And so let's continue with that.
Tower Op 3 was the right's still closed, correct?
Top 3 affirmative, right is still closed, and looks like it's still okay to be closed for a little while until that fog rolls through.
Roger.
Okay, so that was all he said, and I'm thinking it probably would have been a good, because I can sense in his voice that he's going like, it's still closed, right? And she said, yeah, it's still closed. And then he goes, Roger. Like, I think I would have said if I were Ops 3, because it sounded to me like you just cleared somebody to land on runway 7 right.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Jim. I mean, it's not his job, but
No.
he would have been the person that broke the chain, that misaligned the Funyuns, so this didn't happen. But he could have been a hero, and he let his moment go by.
Yeah, that was like one of those little, things where somebody was thinking to themselves, I don't think that we're on the same page here. Something is not quite right, and I don't know why he didn't want to kind of expand on it a little bit more. And, in hindsight now, I'm sure that he wishes he had. But it's late at night or early in the morning, and the tower controller is busy managing a lot of different things, and she's probably so used to saying, cleared to land 7 right, or kind of repeating whatever the inbound flight says to them, and she probably didn't even realize she said, yeah, cleared to land 7 right. And then it's not kind of ringing a bell in her head when this Ops 3 guy asks, 7 right's closed, right? So anyway, interesting. But
yeah, absolutely. I mean, the weather obviously wasn't very good. They're talking about fog rolling in, etc. So, the 7-4 crew, other than picking up on their mistake when they suddenly realized that they were landing on the wrong runway, they might have put it down, and then it would have all been too late.
Would have been a mess, for sure. Okay, well, that was an interesting one. Okay, the last news item that we're going to cover on today's show is this from the NewYorkTimes.com. And so this involves a Chinese paraglider who was doing some kind of ground test, which I don't really understand, because ground test. I mean, he's in the air. Obviously, he's flying his paraglider. Let's see, at a very high altitude. Well, he was trying to get up to about 10,000 feet, I think, what his plan was.
Oh, I
for
don't
this
think he was
test.
planning to get airborne at all, was he?
Well, I think so.
I think
it says, well, he intended to simply test some equipment. Instead, ended up unwittingly reaching barely survivable heights last week. He's 55 years old, and
he hadn't logged the flight. With the Chinese, I think they have to gain permission to do each flight or whatever, and they said that based on his statement that he did not have a flight planned and was doing ground handling training, which does not require the participants to register plans in advance. They were more lenient with him, because if he'd planned to fly, he wouldn't have. He hadn't put in the request, and he would have been in a lot of trouble. I think he was sucked off the ground.
This is a little confusing because this one paragraph here, according to local news media, he was testing equipment as part of a, quote, ground handling training, a step that paragliders say is critical to managing safe launches, at an altitude of 3,000 meters above sea level, or about 10,000 feet. Does that mean that's the elevation of the...
Could well be.
Okay.
I don't know exactly where they are, but yes.
I see. Okay, that's why... in my mind, he's already up there flying around, and then he gets sucked into this cloud. But you're right. But a strong wind suddenly lifted him into the sky. So, yeah, at that point, he was not in the sky, but now he is. And it was it's a phenomenon, a phenomenon that the paragliders call cloud suck. Wow, that cloud sucks. In which a pilot is rapidly drawn up into a cloud. At extreme altitudes, people risk hypoxia or oxygen deprivation because of the thin air. He managed to land about 20 miles away from where he took off. In stable health and recovering from his surprise flight, he has since said, thinking about it still makes me quite scared, the China Daily reported on Thursday. The local sporting authority in Gansu province said on Wednesday that Mr. Peng, who is a licensed paraglider, would be barred from the sport for 6 months. Well, I mean, what did he do wrong?
He did nothing wrong. He was practicing inflating his wing, I suspect, and moving around, because it's quite a difficult thing to handle, I gather. And he got whipped off the ground. So you go, oh, poor bloke. Oh, well.
So...
now, of course, I know a little bit about cloud suck because I did a plain tale about it.
Oh. Yeah.
APG 380 it came out, and it was titled Cloud Suck, and it was all about gliding, and particularly people who went for altitude records by gliding up through thunderstorms, and how some of them came croppers. So this reminded me immediately of that, because it's, climbing an aircraft around in a thunderstorm was pretty bad. And I think I also quoted some unfortunate pilots, or perhaps I think they were pilots who were ejected. But anyway, a parachutist has got caught up in this, and in cloud suck, and ended up going to enormous altitude and nearly dying. So,
yeah, this guy looks like he's having a lot of fun there.
Yes, at least he's popped out the top now. He's around 32,000 feet, though. I mean,
I forgot to mention that part of it. he got sucked up really, really high.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh no. Okay. I misled you there, Jeff, because
only 28,000.
Actually, yeah. There's a champion Polish paraglider who competed on the German national team. He reached over 32,000 feet, accidentally breaking the paragliding height record on a practice flight in Australia, just days before he competed in the World Paragliding Championships. Actually, it was a lady. Her 6-mile ascent was so treacherous, she passed out in the thin air and eventually landed more than 50 miles away from where she took off. Wow. That's dangerous sport, this.
I almost see that as a good thing. I mean, I'm up there and I don't want to really experience this, so passing out might be the best thing to happen.
Well, yeah, good point, actually. I'm very glad that these Parawings are stable enough not to do anything stupid. They just can carry you and you can be completely unconscious dangling beneath it, and it'll still continue flying. Not like a helicopter, I might add, if there are any helicopter pilots listening. You tried doing that in a helicopter.
Yeah, good luck. Good luck.
Or a hot air balloon. You tried doing it in a hot air balloon. You might be a bit warmer in a hot air balloon, I guess.
Yeah, at least you have something making heat.
Yeah, exactly right.
Oh, boy. All right, it's time for us to get to know Captain Nick. That's all right. Yeah, that's a good retro graphic that Liz is showing there. Getting to know us segment is where we kind of get all caught up with what people have been up to between episodes. And Captain Nick, how have you been, sir? Been doing anything fun and interesting? Still doing your bowls, your bowling stuff?
Oh, most certainly. In fact, played a match last night. We had a conclusive win in the end, but this was, one of the big competitions, and we're playing with three players, so it's a triple. And we went away to a different club, so it's always a little bit different when you're on somebody else's green because you're not used to it. But we managed to, we'd managed to dominate eventually, although it took us a wee while. And had a good result, so that was really nice. Day after day, and then I've got 2 matches in a row, and then another match on Sunday, which is a national singles competition. So that'll, and I'm playing against quite a. I'm in the second round of that, having already defeated someone, playing quite a well-known and famously good player. So I've got to play Jim, and I've met him, I know him, so it'll be fun, but that won't be quite so easy.
And when is that?
That's on Sunday afternoon.
Okay.
I'm playing that match, but I think the only day I've got off is Saturday, and we've got one of my sons is visiting along with his girlfriend, and we're taking them to the cinema and doing a barbecue, which reminds me I must get a bottle of gas because the one in there is feeling very light, and it wasn't running at full blast last time I used it. So yeah, I've got to get that done. Anyway, it's been a good week so far, and hopefully will continue. Yeah, we had some good suggestions for the last show cover art. Flame out, relight, Russian tongue, hotline, cold line, up lock, down lock, 2 tall pilots, and the perspiration of Japan. I was trying to figure a way to get that into this picture, but I couldn't. So I love the idea of Bugs Bunny saying, "What's up, lock, doc?" So that's the one we took with the damaged upper lock of the 737 that we featured, or talked about the last show. And what we've got here is Bugs Bunny holding the up lock that he's stolen off Elmer's aircraft, and his gear is falling off. Excuse me, my wife is dancing around in front of my doorbell and setting it off all the time. So I'm going to have to go and shout at her in a minute.
Oh, you're fine.
So what dancing naked. No, I don't think she's dancing naked. She sometimes does that in the back garden if we have a thunderstorm. Because she puts on her witch gear and then dances out naked. We managed to include the Acme Anvil, which is one of our sidelines. Apart from having an airline, we build anvils and a few other bits and bobs. Yeah. With the Roadrunner there and a very squash coyote. we've managed to fit the Jackass, after Liz reminded me, doing a bit of wing waddling. So the Jackass is actually, in his spare time, a wing waddler.
Not a wing
we
walker.
would call them
but
a wing walker,
Ah.
but Jackass penguins don't walk, they waddle. So he's a wing
Very
waddler.
cute.
Now, if you wanted the logo, your number, look at the feet of Bugs Bunny there. I've turned it upside down to make it easier, but it's 665. And that was an afterthought because I'd already put it on the hook. Because I decided that this hook had a capacity of 655 pounds. So on the actual curve of the hook, that's written. And then, of course, the logo is printed beside.
I actually did spot the numbers on the hook there.
Oh, well
I didn't
done.
see on the bottom
one
of
on
the
his feet. You see, I'm
Bunny's
getting
feet.
tricksy.
Yeah.
I'm doing.
Yeah, you are.
There you go. Yes, 665 pounds. Anyway, that was fun doing that one, and I think it's not a bad representation of Bugs Bunny. He certainly looks happy enough. But I had to put the carrot in his hand because the stupid AI didn't think he deserved a carrot. And, of course, I had to put the uplock in his hand as well. So, it does a good job of various bits, but you have to, if you want detail, you have to do it all yourself.
Well, you're very talented with Photoshop, for sure.
I don't think so, but there you go. It is fun. It gives me something to do, doesn't it?
Yeah. All right. I am just, doing the normal things that I do, singing and editing podcasts and that sort of thing. And but I do have some exciting news. Later today, that espresso machine that I've mentioned, I think, once or twice on the show, that I ordered in early April. Thank you for the sound effects, Captain Nick. He is making steaming some milk for the latte. Thank you. The machine that I've been, my dream machine, espresso maker, is going to arrive today, sometime between 3 and 5 o'clock this afternoon. So I am looking forward to that, and I'll make sure that I take pictures and
before you drop it,
everybody.
take some pictures, please. Yes.
I better not drop it. If I drop it, it's gonna be a
Tears
a
before
mess.
bedtime. Yes.
You know how much that thing weighs?
No.
66 pounds.
Well, I think there's a fairly good chance you'll drop it then.
I hope I don't. And we were discussing this with Camacho yesterday. He was asking if I was going to be taking that with me in the RV, studio, the road vessel studio. And by the way, it's parked. I managed to get the space right in front of my apartment unit that is not marked as a reserved spot, and I never ever see that space open. And when I came back from the grocery store yesterday, I thought, well, I'm just going to look just to be. Oh, look, it's open. So I snagged my little parking spot there. So I'm looking at the RVS out the window here. So I'm going to have to do a trial run with the unit. Well, first of all, when it arrives today, I'm going to see how heavy it is to get up on the countertop. And I'm thinking if it's too bulky, heavy, I may not even try to put it into the RVS. But it would be kind of nice to be able to take that with me on my trip to up to Canada and to Oshkosh later in July.
Oh, yeah.
Just to have that kind of, capability on my trip.
I can imagine when you're driving that the whole RV is going to be sort of tilting over a bit.
Yeah, why is that guy's RV like about to tip over? He might have one of those really expensive, very heavy espresso makers in there.
Oh,
I could.
Oh, why not?
Good idea. I could make some extra money. Yeah, go to the truck stops and put up a sign and say, "Hey, freshly made espresso, by Jeff."
Indeed.
Anyway, so I'm excited about that. And then next week, the end of next week, I'm getting the final delivery of the furniture that I ordered quite some time ago. Yeah, the bed and the nightstand and the chest of drawers or the dresser or whatever you want to call it arrive Friday of next week. So
actually, it's going to be like Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, let's do that. Let's talk about the coffee fund. Yeah, let's see here. Do I want some coffee?
Johnny, how much more coffee?
Yes, please.
Oh, I definitely want some coffee.
I love tea. I love the APG community. Coffee and tea and the Java and me. A cup. Oh, yeah. The Coffee Fund. The Coffee Fund is helping me pay for this very expensive espresso machine. Just kidding. I'm using my own personal money for that. The Coffee Fund is your way to support the show financially. A lot of costs, a lot of expenses that we have to do this. It's not free, but it's free to you unless you feel like you want to help us out in a small way. And if you do, you can join the Coffee Bar Club. And a couple of different ways, a couple of different mechanisms to use to contribute. One is the Coffee Fund Classic method, which is essentially a PayPal donation site or page. And most people use it for like every once in a while kind of contributions. Some actually use it as a recurring contribution mechanism, and we do thank them for that. The other way, if you feel like giving us a certain amount per episode kind of thing, Patreon is the perfect place for you. You can become a patron of the show on Patreon. Airline Pilot Guy is after patreon.com. Well, anyway, all that information about how you can join these fine folks is over at airlinepilotguy.com/coffee. You'll be glad you did, and we will too. Okay. Tanya, it is not a Breville. It's, yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, you did. You answered a Lamazoko. Mazraco. And no, it's a Marzocco. Anyway, it's about 3 times as much as that high-end Breville. Yeah, I should probably get well, I'll have some pictures of it next show that we'll be sharing. And yeah, anyway, looking forward to that. Okay, I guess. Okay. Yeah. Oh, that'd be a good one. Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. Time for some feedback.
Captain, incoming message.
Okie doke. We're going to start with some audio feedback from Thomas Witherspoon. He is the host of swling.com or Facebook group swling.com. Oh, same thing. That's just spelled out dot. We'll have those links in the show notes. SWL, what does that mean, Captain Nick? It has something to do with...
That's shortwave listening.
Shortwave listening, okay.
Yeah, I mean, people who didn't want to or hadn't yet qualified to transmit on HF, like, the radio hams and radio amateurs around the world do, often just listen out on the HF frequencies, which is SWLing, shortwave listening.
Oh, thank you very much for clarifying that. Well, anyway, Thomas is really into that, and as I said, he hosts a website and a podcast, I think, every once in a while. I think it may have been a while since he's done one. But anyway, he listens. He's one of our APG community members. You'll remember a couple of years ago, I was on a road trip in the Asheville area. On the way back, he invited me to stay in. They have an Airbnb listing very close to the home that they built it's beautiful mountainside in north of is it east of Asheville? I forget the exact Swannanoa, that's it, Swannanoa, very close to Asheville. And anyway, so I took them up on it and got to stay in the Airbnb, and then they invited me up the hill to their home, beautiful home, for a dinner, and I got to meet his family, his wife and his kid, his 2 daughters. Oh, just a great time. Really, really enjoyed that. And anyway, he sent some audio feedback to us, so let's have a listen.
Hello, APG crew. It's Thomas Witherspoon here in Asheville, and I wanted to drop a little audio feedback. I realize it's probably been a couple of years since I've done my last audio feedback. Sorry about that. I just ran into somebody this past weekend who is also an amateur radio operator like me and an APG listener. So it jogged my memory that I actually thought of leaving you audio feedback here a couple months ago, but just forgot to do it. So I thought I'd do it today. But first, I want to thank you for all of the regular episodes of the APG show. I had kind of gotten behind there for a while. Captain Jeff knows. He's been to our house before and had a wonderful dinner with us, about a year and a half ago or something. We live up sort of in the woods near forest, surrounded by forest in Swannanoa, North Carolina. And at the end of September, Hurricane Helene came through, knocked down tons of trees on our property. But we made it through just fine. Just a lot of damage on the property, tree-wise and stuff. So I've spent most of February and March in really long chainsawing sessions, like from morning till evening, trying to get through all of it, get rid of a brush and all of these old growth trees around the house that were knocked down, and just kind of get it all cleaned up, get things taken down to the road so that FEMA could take them away. And during those, especially February and March, I was able to catch up on the APG show a little bit during those chainsawing sessions. I found out that with my AirPods or earpods, whatever you call them, in my ears, and with the hearing protection on, I could really easily listen to the show. It was at a moderate volume, and you kept me company. No chainsaw incidents to report, so you must be doing something right there. Anyway, my audio feedback today really is less a question, just asking you if you could speak about something. So back in, I think it was back in February, I was with my daughter, Neva, who Jeff knows, and we were driving past the Asheville airport. It was a day with really poor visibility. And she was asking what procedures are like when a commercial aircraft comes in to the airport, because we were literally going under sort of the flight path there. And it was just really crummy visibility, even for driving in a car. And she asked about that. And then it wasn't 2 days later that she and I flew out of Charlotte on a day when they were forecast like 60 mile per hour gusts. And I'll admit, I figured we'd probably hit we did have some moderate turbulence, which wasn't a big deal. Neither one of us are too affected by that. But I was curious if there'd be any, flight cancellations or anything like that. But there weren't. And I don't know, maybe the weather just wasn't as bad as they said it would be, or maybe it wasn't a crosswind effect. So what I wanted to ask is really if you could speak to a couple different things. Number one, in adverse conditions, especially when you have low visibility, what's the balance between sort of hand flying, and automation? Do you do more automation, or do you do just hand flying with instrument, with instrument control, or how do you do that? It seems in the past I've heard you talk about it, and I know that maybe it's even the the company you work for that may have procedures that you follow. Perhaps it's even, the guidance by the aircraft manufacturer and that sort of thing. But I'm just really curious how that works, because I've sort of heard different things. And do you rely more on automation, like on the plane sort of doing auto landings and things like that in really low visibility, or is it the opposite of that? Also, when you have gusty winds, of course, I know that crosswinds can really have a huge effect on your ability to land and take off and everything. But do you get a little nervous when you see that wind gusts could be up to 60 miles per hour or more? When a front moves through an area, is it a lot easier to do that on takeoff than landing? Or is it just really a non-event? I'm just kind of curious about that, and I know my daughter is too. So if you could speak to it, that'd be wonderful. And thank you so much again for keeping up the good show. It's nice to catch up. And I'm listening to you now as I'm driving down I-77 heading south, hands-free, of course. Hands on the steering wheel. So it's as safe as it can be with me driving. So let's just put it that way. Take care, everyone. All the best, and look forward to your future shows.
Get your hands back on the wheel, Thomas, come on. Hey, Neva, if you're listening, great question. Thank you for sending that in. And okay, I think it was like a couple of different questions there that he wants us to address. The first, low visibility and manual flying and auto flight. And in general, he is correct. It does have something to do a little bit with your airline's standard operating procedures. I don't think any of the airline manufacturers actually specify when you must, use the automation and such. But I know that at my former airline, once the visibility got below like 4,000 RVR which is 4,000 feet, and three quarters of a mile visibility, that we were required to use the autoflight, have it hooked up with the instrument landing system or whatever kind of approach you're doing, and if they are operating, if it's an operable situation. I don't want to go into all the, the details of if some equipment's not working, what you're allowed to do and what weather conditions and that kind of thing. But in general, the worse the weather gets, as far as ceiling visibility kind of weather, the more likely that you're going to have that automation on for safety. And we, in general, when the weather starts improving, most of us anyway, enjoy manually flying the airplane, because that's one of the best parts of the flight, in my opinion, is coming in for approach and landing and trying to just roll that thing on the runway. And we take a certain amount of pride in doing a really, really good job and just wowing people with our landing skills. Sometimes it doesn't work out exactly the way we expected to, have it done. But anyway, so the answer basically is, when your weather conditions, it's foggy, low visibility, low ceilings, there is like almost 100% chance that if the airplane is equipped with autoflight and can be coupled with the instrument landing system or whatever, then that is what's happening there. Right, Captain Nick?
Oh, absolutely. That's, well put, Jeff. For us, it was really as soon as the approach went below Cat 1. Cat 1 is the closest we could go and the lowest, doing a manual landing. As soon as the weather dropped below that cloud base, more important, the visibility limit, we went to a Cat 3 landing straight away. Yep. And so even if it was Cat 2 limits, which gives you some leeway, we set the aircraft up for a full Cat 3 auto land. And that meant really having the autopilot engaged really, from base leg onwards, as you engage, because you really wanted to, in the Airbus, when you selected both autopilots on during the approach, it would do all its checks on itself and give you a category that it felt it was capable of doing. So on a fault-free aircraft, it would come up Cat 3B. which is the one where you don't even need to see the ground until you're kind of trying to taxi off.
That's
the
so
runway.
much fun, isn't it? Yeah.
Indeed, it is. It's great. So we used the autopilots a great deal. When it comes to the winds, 60 knots or even 60 miles an hour is doable, but it's when it's across the runway and not up or down the runway. Well, I say not down. You couldn't land with a 60-knot tailwind, but you could certainly land with a 60-knot headwind if there wasn't too much turbulence. But the problem with very strong winds is as you get very close to the ground, you hit the mechanical turbulence that's generated in the interaction between the wind and all the buildings that are around. The Earth's surface is not smooth and flat, so you get a lot of eddies and vortices come off buildings, and that wind is not likely to be steady as well. It's likely to be gusting, so you're gaining and losing speed as you're coming down as those gusts hit you, and that can be difficult. Certainly if you're trying to take off in those conditions, I would feel much more comfortable than trying to land in them, because the great majority of the takeoff, you've got all your wheels on the ground, and within fairly short order, when you hit flying speed, hit rotate speed, you can pitch the aircraft up and get clear of the runway before anything happens. And once you're in the air, you start to drift around, and you've got to let the aircraft weathercock into the any crosswind, but you're pretty safe once you're flying. Landing is kind of a lot more prolonged period of you trying to fight the wind, trying to keep the aircraft straight, not even on the middle of the runway, but usually on the upwind side of the runway, so that when you do straighten the aircraft to let the wheels touch, you don't start drifting off the side, because as soon as you straighten up, all that protection you had by crabbing the aircraft in goes, and you start to drift away from the middle. So the idea is to straighten the aircraft. On the Airbus, you didn't even straighten it all the way. You only straightened it about half, and then as the wheels touched, you let the geometry of the wheels and the friction from the tires finish that straightening maneuver. But once your wheels are on the ground, you're safe. You're not going to drift off. It's just a matter then of making sure you keep the wings nice and level as you're doing that maneuver to straighten the aircraft, because it's traditional for, as you straighten the aircraft, the wing that you're bringing forward will start to rise, and you want to counter that. It doesn't happen straight away, and it's not a very predictable effect. Well, you know it's going to happen, but exactly when it happens is not easy. So you've got to kind of be ready, but not overreactive, and not too much and not too late. And as you try and just keep the aircraft all nice and level and settle it on. And the bigger the aircraft, sometimes the easier it is, but the bigger the aircraft, the more inertia you've got. So you tend to have problems with your SP, because the gusts really do have a big effect on your speed. You don't, the aircraft itself doesn't adjust to those new wind gusts. It just plows through them, and your airspeed is going up and down like, I won't say what, up and down like a kangaroo.
Yes.
There you go. So it's one of the hardest things, I think, for a pilot to learn to do properly, and certainly it carries the most risk in civil aviation, I think, is landing the aircraft in a strong crosswind. Getting airborne, not so much. Cat 3 approaches, you definitely have to rely on the sophistication of your automatic pilot and its coupling to the instrument landing system on the airport. But you also need to have quite gentle winds, because the CAT automatic landing system cannot cope with very strong winds. So if you get, as we used to get at one of the airfields I worked at when I was in the Air Force, a 40-knot fog, which was a kind of advection fog that came in off the sea, hit the cliffs, came over the airfield, and as it rose to come up over the cliffs, it used to condense out into fog. So you'd end up with this incredibly strong, windy, foggy day. Those kind of days would defeat an automatic landing system, and it would defeat a manual landing system if you couldn't see the runway as well. So, but they're pretty rare, those conditions.
Thank you for mentioning that, because I was going to try to tie in, that first question about manual flying and auto flight when it comes to low visibilities. But in the case of strong crosswinds, the capabilities of the auto flight system are such that they can't handle a certain amount of crosswind, beyond a certain amount of crosswind, because they just don't have the control authority to make the adjustments necessary. Only we humans and our reaction skills are able to do that. So, if it's a day with strong crosswinds, landing, you're going to be hand flying the airplane. Most likely. And also to kind of basically agree with Captain Nick's assessment of a strong headwind, more headwind is better, right? I mean, the wing just sees or knows what wind is going or flowing over the airfoil. So you'd think, 50 knot, 60 knot headwind is great. But in my experience, and I think Captain Nick's as well, anytime you have a condition where you have very, very high headwinds, as good as it is to have all that wind flowing over your wing, almost inevitably you're going to be in a situation where you're going to have wind shear and wind shear warnings and that kind of thing. And so that's the downside of really, really strong headwinds, is the fact that now you're going to have to deal with the possibility or likelihood that you're going to get that darn wind shear warning. That would be an improving performance wind shear, which I think in most cases, in most airlines, we're allowed to go ahead and continue, after we assess the conditions at the time. A decreasing performance wind shear then is the bad wind shear, where, you're required to execute a wind shear escape maneuver. But again, in my experience, when you have a very high headwind with increasing performance, it's not so much the wind shear detection system on your airplane that I usually had to worry about. It was the systems around the airport that detect wind shear or downdraft, or what do they call it? What's the thing?
Microburst?
Microburst warnings. And our regulations at my company said, if they're saying that there are, microburst warnings or whatever in the area, then, you can't even attempt to land the airplane. So that's another, limiting factor when it comes to really super high winds. But yeah, great question, Neva. Hope you're listening, and tell your dad we said hi, and thanks for sending in the audio feedback. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. We're going to end the show. You know what? I'm going to try to do this in line. We have some really nice feedback, coming up next weekend. This is being published on Monday of the week of June 9th. And so that means that if you're listening to this shortly after it was published, this upcoming weekend is Father's Day weekend here in the U.S. I don't know if it's the same around the world or not. And we had a nice feedback sent in from Les Yaw. He's what does he call himself? Truck driver Les. Truck driver Les, L-E-S, not L-E-S-S, from Mason City, Iowa. And so we're going to go ahead and address that piece of feedback right now with Camacho. Okay. Now you'll have to listen to the audio podcast or go back to the video that we did yesterday to hear that. So now I'm going to go back to the current show, 16 things. Okay, we're going to end the show with, well, I'm not going to say that because I might end the show with the Father's Day thing. All right, we're going to go ahead and address this piece of feedback next, and then that'll be it for this part of our recording. This is some feedback sent in from Alan Murray. Radio failures, blackouts, the solution. Hi, Captain Jeff. Your comments about radio communications failures, blackouts have a simple solution, and surely were the very reason parallel runways were conceived. All pilots have to do is take off in parallel pairs, fly in pairs, and then land in pairs. Prior to takeoff, if each pair is issued with 2 tin cans and a piece of string, it means that the pilots can, if all else fails, at least speak to each other. Over and out. And again, that's Alan Murray. That's some out-of-the-box thinking there, Alan. The old tin can thing on the string. I never realized, Captain Nick, did you, that's the reason why they came up with this whole parallel runway system?
Well, I think it's a brilliant idea. Just so long as there's nothing between the two runways to catch the bit of string. Otherwise, you could get pulled out the window, which could be a bit embarrassing. Yeah. And of course, you've got to eat the baked beans before you can use the tin. And that's never very good. If one of the pilots eats a whole can of baked beans, you're going to have a pretty miserable flight. So I wouldn't recommend it, Alan.
Yeah, and if you don't eat all the beans in the can, then it's going to be very muffled. It's going to be not clear communications.
Well, that's true. I mean, it does in fact work, because I do remember my little friend Ricky, who lived about 5 houses down, all our backyards lined up, and through sneaking through our neighbours' gardens, we managed to pass a piece of string all the way down to his house 5 gardens away, which we tied to our baked bean cans, and we could indeed communicate, although you've got to pull it quite tight to get the vibrations to travel up and down them, and that meant that you've got to tie a big knot in the hole in the bottom if you can. There were all sorts of technical problems we had to overcome, but we did manage to communicate. And the first words we said, Mary had a little lamb. There you go. That's,
okay.
Yeah, me and
yeah, not quite as monumental a quote as Alexander Graham Bell's, or was that what he said?
I believe that was what he said.
Oh, now I get it. Ding, 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 ding. Oh, how am I going to edit that and make myself not sound completely stupid?
No.
Impossible.
You don't sound stupid, Jeff. Just go make yourself a cup of coffee.
Yeah, I need more caffeine. That's for sure. My brain is failing. All right, it's time to wrap it up. We're going to go ahead and point you over toward our website, airlinepilotguy.com, where you'll find information about the crew and the community, and got a community calendar and merchandise and more detailed information about each of the Plain Tales installments. And what else? I mentioned the calendar already. A library, believe it or not. Our librarian Tiffany handles that for us. Anyway, a lot of good stuff there on the website, so head over there and check it out. And we're also on social media, or what I like to call the social meds.
Indeed we are. And if you're a Facebook fan, go to facebook.com/Airline Pilot Guy, all one word. And if you're on an ex-Twitterer who now is on X, we are at APG Crew. On the Instas of Instagram, instagram.com/APG Crew. And, of course, the YouTube channel that we're currently recording on, youtube.com/Airline Pilot Guy.
You got it. And we're also on something that's kind of like social media and more. It's called Slack. Let's see if Hillel can you tell us about Slack, Hillel?
Okay, but I'm dripping wet.
That's all right. Just come on over. Just don't get anything on the electrical podcasting equipment, please. Okay. Tell us about it.
APG listeners, please join us on our Slack team. Slack is a communication, coordination, and sharing platform that works on your mobile, laptop, or browser. On Slack, we share news and ideas. We suggest episode and plain tales topics. We plan events and meetups. To get into the Slack team, please email me at slack@airlinepilotguy.com. That's SLACK, Sierra Lima Alpha Charlie Kilo at airlinepilotguy.com, or send me a tweet with your preferred email address to @Hillel, and I'll send you an invitation. That's Hillel, spelled Hotel India 11 Echo 1, and see you in Slack.
Thanks a lot, Hillel.
Where's the soap?
It's on the floor. Oh no, don't bend over. No, don't bend over.
Oh dear.
Oh boy.
Ooh, that sounds
Oh,
amazing.
Jeff, that's traumatic.
That's traumatic. PTSD. Let's see. We're also here to thank Liz Piper, our producer, who does all the work.
Thank you,
all the
Liz.
work.
Good job,
Thank you,
as
Liz.
always.
My pleasure.
Yep, and also like to thank our live chat room, our live audience that joins us each and every week. You should as well. So make sure you're signed up for the social media so you know when we're recording the show. And we have a good group of folks here with us today, so thank you for that. And finally, I guess we can say wishing you clear skies, unlimited visibility, and tailwinds. Take care, and God bless.
Ta-ta for now.
See you next time.
All right.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap, baby.
And we don't need any titles or anything. We can just
I know, he's already done the artwork.
In the bag. It's
great.
great.
I've got the weekend off. By the way, 15th is our Father's Day. When was yours?
Same here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so this show will be published before Father's Day, so that'll good.
Yep. Here's Tanya, if you're still there. That's my machine that should be arriving in a couple of hours.
Is it that color, Jeff, or is it yellow?
Yeah, I got the I got the
Oh,
white.
you got the white. Okay. For some reason, I thought it was
it comes in yellow and light blue and black and chrome. This might actually be. It almost looks like it might be the chrome version, but the one I have is all painted white.
Okay, you went for the classic white.
Yeah, classic white. But that's they call that the Linea Mini. And
it ain't mini.
It ain't mini, but compared to like a commercial machine, I guess it is.
Looks more like a Maserati than a Mini.
So, needless to say, you don't have to plumb the water into it. Like you just put
you
the
can,
water
but you don't have to. No, it has a reservoir. If you pull out the tray, which is a huge tray here in front, there's a water tank underneath the entire machine. Cool. And they're very particular about the water that you use in this thing. And so if you live in the U.S. on the West Coast, they recommend, I think it's called Geyser Peak or something like that, bottled water.
I've heard of that. Yep.
And then over here on the East Coast, they they tell you to use Poland
Springs. That's from Maine, I think.
Yeah, Maine. From natural spring water in Maine. And I guess it has all the right minerals and not too much of the wrong minerals and that kind of thing to keep this machine running smoothly over time. They said that's probably the most critical thing about operating this is to make sure that
so you don't want any mineral buildup.
Perfect.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
we can't wait to hear all about it.
says Pellegrino, apparently.
That'd be a little fizzy, wouldn't it? Use Pellegrino?
Oh, yeah. Pellegrino, I like to drink, but you don't put that in an espresso machine. No. It's
Topo Chico. No Topo Chico.
And it doesn't have the right minerals, apparently, according to La Mazorco.
Well, you're going to be doing so much experimentation. It's going to be exciting.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully, I'll be able to figure it out and make some really, really good stuff. Otherwise, I've made a very expensive mistake. Yeah, so the steam. This is what they call a dual boiler. It has a boiler for steaming milk or milk substitutes, and it also has a boiler for the group head for the actual espresso making. And but they say I've never experienced this machine, but all the videos that I've seen on it. They say that the steam capacity of this thing is like almost better than the commercial units out there in all the different high-end cafes. They said it's amazingly powerful. In fact, there's an app that comes with it that you can actually set like the limit of how much steam you want to have, and they recommend that when you start off with number, I think it's like 1, 2, and 3. Start off with number 1 because it's amazingly powerful. So, I mean, you can take a little milk pitcher and steam the milk in like under 10 seconds.
So basically, it could double. It could double as a power washer for your patio.
It might be a little bit difficult to carry, but I could probably clean my patio, concrete on the patio and the sidewalk out front here. Yeah. I mean, the videos that I've seen is like when they turn on that steam, it's like you almost like the person disappears. Like, wow, that's a lot of steam.
It'll be good for your skin, Jeff. That night.
Yeah, that'll be good for my skin.
Just don't burn yourself. Just don't burn.
Well, I was going to say, it depends how close you are as to whether it's good for your skin or not.
Anyway, we're going to hear all about it, I'm sure, which is great.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, thanks.
I could have spent a tenth of the amount of money I've paid for this and still had a very, very nice machine. But I figured, hey, I'm retired. I came into some pension money that I didn't know anything about, and I'm thinking, that'll pay for my
treating
machine.
yourself. That's nice.
Yeah, I'm treating myself for sure. Yeah.
Excellent.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next show.
Yeah,
Bye.
we will.
Well, just let me answer. Have you already turned us off?
No.
Okay. AJ, steam distilled, get it? No, I don't get it. But distilled water is like probably the worst kind of water you can put in this machine because it does need to have certain minerals.
For taste, for taste
the coffee
purposes.
beans don't provide nearly enough flavor.
Exactly. No. I mean, just like in beer, the right water really makes the difference between good beer and bad beer. I mean, the minerals in water for brewing is very important, whether it be coffee or beer brewing. Anyway, enough of that. Yep, we'll see you, everybody in the chat room. Have a great day.
Yeah, cheers, folks.
Bye.
Bye.
Lovely to see you on board.
Yeah.